Good evening, everybody. Um, this evening I'm going to make a video. I look like shit. I have a little bit of allergies, but this evening I'm going to just do a really quick video on Mercury Retrograde. So Mercury Retrograde, the way that a lot of astrologers put it is basically that it looks as if Mercury is going backwards in the sky. So Mercury is basically the planet that actually it has to do with communication. It rules Gemini as well as Virgo. And now that I think about it, my son just asked me if Geminis and Virgos go together, and I didn't think about that particular aspect. So I've never really known a Gemini and a Virgo in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, but nevertheless. So Mercury in retrograde, some of the things that will happen during Mercury in retrograde. You want to leave early because there are a lot of accidents, a lot of setbacks. You'll notice planes will be delayed. Paperwork will get mixed up. Communication is often taken out of context in which it was sincerely meant. So, with that being said, during the retrograde, we just want to be mindful that people will often misunderstand what we're saying or trying to say. For me, personally, one example that I have is Mercury went into retrograde, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? I think it's about 2 weeks ago. It comes out on September 22nd, but prior to it actually going in retrograding and after it coming out of retrograde, you have like these periods in which Mercury is still, let's say, unstable in a sense. So, sorry, somebody's texting me. So with that being said, one thing that I have personally gone through this Mercury retrograde is when trying to get my son enrolled in school, my little one, which he's not really that little anymore. He's 15, but he's my youngest. Elijah. So I went to the office of enrollment about a month ago. I want to say 3.5 weeks ago. So a month ago. And then what I did was I sat with the enrollment counselor, and what happened is we chose about 6 schools altogether. Sorry, Facebook paused me. One of the schools, actually, not one of the schools. So he had allegedly reached out to these schools, couldn't get my son in. So, but problems with communication, right? Let me try not to be long-winded. Problem with communication was after 2 weeks, after the first week and a couple of days, I called the enrollment counselor. He was not available. I mean, he was available, but he had no information for me. Then when I spoke to him a week later, it was, the director's working on it. And then I had to call him a couple days before school started, and he still didn't have anything. So my whole point is that during Mercury retrograde, either people will forget, or things will take longer than anticipated, or paperwork gets lost. So now we're 3.5 weeks in. So I went to the Office of Enrollment, then Dad went to the Office of Enrollment. Now I had to go back today. And what happened yesterday was Elijah had a school that was chosen, but we didn't really want that school because it was in Brooklyn. And then I hear back from the enrollment officer, and he tells me, hey, look, I have those schools in Manhattan that you wanted. It's a month later. And this is one of the effects of Mercury in retrograde. So we want to say the third time's a charm. Nah, kind of, but not really, but kind of. So we went up to one of the schools today only to find out, we went all the way to 86th Street just to find out that there's no room left in the school. So I had to call Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison had to reach out to this other school because I told him, I said, look, now I'm not going to be running around coming back to your office to get an enrollment letter, blah, 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 blah. Finally got into school in Manhattan. So it's not that you can't get things done during Mercury retrograde. Just be very aware that it's going to it might take you a few tries, but anything that is completed paperwork wise or something that was started prior, it can work out and it'll be that much more potent and steady. So whole point for Mercury in retrograde, just be patient, Hi, Joanna. You said this one is the worst for you. Is it? Well, that's because you have a full moon in Pisces coming up and it's an eclipse. So it's going to be really intense for you. Oh. And it's a whole spiritual thing and whatnot with that whole eclipse. But I was kind of feeling funky last night as well. But yeah, I kind of feel like it's been a shitty retrograde. Even at work, all of a sudden my fucking whole week of punching in and out, all of a sudden it disappeared. But I think somebody's playing games with me. But that is one of the things that Mercury in retrograde can cause. Also, because it happened twice. Now I have another week in which last week, all of a sudden, 3 days of my punches are totally gone. They've disappeared. And I'm the only one that happened to. So, I'm trying to think of what else people should be aware of during retrograde. And communication. I had to catch myself the other day arguing with people. You can't, because they're going to just misunderstand everything. So, that's pretty much my video of Mercury in retrograde. Point is, be patient, leave early. I don't know if you guys saw this J train situation. I didn't catch the beginning of it, but that's another thing. The trains were backed up today. People had to get off the train and go through the tunnels and whatnot. So anyway, that's my video on Mercury retrograde. If you have any questions, inbox me. Bye.